Hello and welcome to the Malika Writes channel. My name is Malika Writes, and before I begin today, I just want to say thank you so much to every single person who has taken the time to comment, to subscribe, to just watch my videos. It's really a luxury to be able to sit down and watch YouTube videos, and you guys give me your precious time every week to engage with me and to really support this channel. So I just want to take a quick moment to say thank you so much to everyone who invests their time and energy into this channel. You are the ones who sort of make this channel worth it, and I just wanted to take the time to say thank you. So thank you so much. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So today I'm going to be doing a mini book haul and answering some questions and replying to some of your comments. So the first book that I have to show you guys today is The Longest Memory, and this particular book is an award-winning book. It was the winner of the Whitbread First Novel Award and the David Hyam First Novel Award. So it's very inspirational. It's written from the perspective of a slave, and I think that when it comes to conversations about slavery and about the treatment of slaves and just people's humanity during this time, I think this book is a very, very telling book. It's a very complicated and just heartfelt book. And I think I've started reading it already, and so far it's been very emotional. It's been one of those books that really takes you to the heart of human suffering and humanizes an experience that we often look at from a distance. So that's the first book. The second one is The History of the English People by Bede, and it's it's kind of looking at the Christian history of this people. I don't know if you guys can see this very well because it's a patent cover, so the light from my ring light is probably bouncing off this a lot, but I hope that you guys can kind of see it. Maybe if I move back a bit. I haven't gotten too far. I've read the introduction and the first couple of chapters. It really details the history of the church and how it formed medieval England and how it brought the Saxons and some of the other Celtic regions into the Catholic faith and religion and how that worked. So I think it's a very interesting book. It's definitely one that I would recommend reading because it really shows the history of Europe, but not just Europe, but specifically the English people. Okay, so the next book was recommended by you guys, and it's The Savage Tales of Solomon Kane. Here we go, another patent cover, so you guys may not be able to see this. I've just had a flick through, and it looks like it's going to be a really good story. From what I've read on the blurb, it's about this pilgrim, and with any sort of religious figure on a journey of this sort, which entails violence, I'm very curious to see how he handles it and how it shapes him as a character and also as a person. Stephen King praised this book very highly, so I'm sold. Also, you guys recommended it, so I was sold before I knew about Stephen King's recommendation. The next book I have for you guys, let me just get it from here. Walker Percy, The Last Self-Help Book Lost in the Cosmos. So this was another recommended book, and it's not a self-help book. Don't let the title deceive you. It's more about posing questions and really getting you to again grapple with what you believe in, which is something I always support. So thank you to the people who recommended this to me. We have William Morris, How We Live and How We Might Live. Again, something recommended to me. Another patent cover, so I don't know if you guys can see it again. But I haven't started this one. I intend to. It's quite short, so I'm probably going to finish this in about an hour or so. Depending on the content, I might want to really delve into it and really just take notes, because I believe taking notes when you're reading helps you to digest a text very well. I also have Conan the Barbarian, the complete edition. I've gotten that, and it's massive. But I intend to tackle it. I'm not scared of a challenge. The next sort of big task I want to tackle is the Dune series. I want to see how I tackle that. That will probably be one of my first introduction to the sci-fi genre. Can't speak today. And I'm hoping. I've heard good things about it. I've actually watched the movie. I'm going to be doing a review of the movie. Spoiler, I think it's brilliant. So I've gotten this one, again recommended by you guys, so thank you so much for recommending it. Last but not least, we have Star Shatter by the Black Knight. And this I know is written by Aragma, one of my subscribers and regular commenters, so I'm very excited to have it, and I'm going to be reading this. Aragma, if you want me to comment on the book and give a review of it, let me know. You can drop a comment in the comment section and I will review it if that is what you wish, but I look forward to reading it. I've finally gotten it. So with the book haul out of the way, now we can get on to the questions. So let's see. The first question, the first thing I have to comment on rather. The movies did Ron Weasley dirty, and I will die on this hill. So I agree. The movies just devastated Ron's character. He is a very smart individual. He is a character that obviously deserved a lot more than what he got in the movies. I think I'm coming down with something. But like I was saying, he's a character who deserved a lot more than he got. In the book, he is a lot more proactive, he is a lot more thoughtful, and I think that his relationship with Hermione Granger becomes less childish the more they grow up. He doesn't stay this sort of bumbling sort of guy that he was in his first year. And even in his first year, he's shown to be a very intelligent character, and I think that is something that's undermined in the movies. A lot of Ron's lines are given to Hermione in order to play up her intelligence, but that's to the detriment of Ron's character. So I will die on that hill with you. I heard the original story of Beauty and the Beast was inspired by a man who had a condition where excessive hair grew all over his body. Society looked down on him. Am I mistaken with that inspiration? I have looked around for that inspiration, and I haven't really come across a lot of sources. That being said, I haven't spent a very, very long time searching, so it's probably out there. But I would not be surprised if that were the inspiration. I mean, all myths and all stories have some inspiration somewhere in real life, so I would not be surprised if that were the case, but so far I haven't actually come across that storyline. But if anyone has, please point me in the right direction, because I would be very curious to read that interpretation of it. This is a weighty one. With much of modern culture in the West leaning more towards political correctness, do you think we will get to a point again in our lifetime where we can take a work of literature from the past and adapt it true to the source material without cancel culture attacking it for its lack of whatever? Okay, so the short and uncomplicated answer to that is yes. History goes round in circles, so we will absolutely get to a point where cancel culture as we know it will not be as intense as it is. We will always have some sort of cancel culture, because when you look at human behavior, we have always had this desire to exclude from the group those that we think are detrimental to it. So in that sense, we've always had some sort of cancel culture, but with the rise of social media, what we're seeing is something that used to be confined to the community is a lot more global. So I think as we're beginning to see the negative impact it's having on society, people will cut back. However, I don't know when that change is going to occur. I don't know when we as a society are going to wake up, so to speak. But I know that it's going to happen because history just goes round and round in circles, and we are going to get to that point. So in that sense, I'm optimistic. And I know that it will change, because especially even in very liberal circles, when I speak to some of my friends who are very liberal, they are growing tired of this cancel culture, and they do think it's toxic. So although that's a very small sample size, but I do think that is the overall sentiment. If news outlets like the Guardian are now talking about the ills of cancel culture, I do think it is it's not a stretch to believe that we are coming towards the end of that particular type of social justice, so to speak. Okay. Your view of heaven and hell is very interesting. What do you think about modern takes on it? For example, the TV show Lucifer. It all comes down to your own guilt. If you forgive yourself of all your sins, you will go to heaven. But if you feel guilty, you will go to hell. Okay, when it comes to modern takes on heaven and hell, they're always going to be simplistic because they'll never match up to the biblical understanding of these concepts. And just before I kind of go into this, I'm going to be getting into sort of biblical understanding of these things. So I'm not trying to indoctrinate anybody. I'm just sort of explaining this from the biblical worldview. And I won't go on too long. So heaven and hell in the biblical worldview they are a lot more to do with your individual choice, because we as human beings have free will, and they have to do with whether or not you wish to be under the dominion of God. And if you wish to be under the dominion of God and live according to his plans, then you will go to heaven. If you act in a way that proves you want to be under his dominion, then yes, you will go to heaven. And I think that that's the whole essence of belief. It's not just you saying you are Christian, it's also you acting out that belief, not thinking that your actions will get you into heaven, but acting in a way that shows your belief. Like if you believe something, you'll live according to it. And if you don't want to be under the dominion of God, then you'll go to hell and you'll be without God, and you'll get everything that being in the absence of God entails. So when it comes to Lucifer, I haven't watched the show. It didn't seem to interest me. I might give it a go now that it's been brought up in the comment section. But yes, just based on the way that it views who gets into heaven and who gets into hell, it's not a biblical show. It's a secular show, and there's nothing wrong with that. I didn't expect them to be able to tackle this in a way that is biblical, and that was not the purpose of the show. So in the biblical worldview, obviously that's wrong, and in order for this ideology to be actualized, you yourself would have to be God, because then the ability to forgive yourself of sin would be up to you. And in the biblical worldview, humans are not able to do that. So I hope that answers the question. Okay. Let's see, the next question. Oh, this question actually comes from my from a masculinity video with Aragorn, Boromir and Faramir, where I make the point that Boromir is able to be vulnerable with someone he has come to respect. And what this person is saying is, this person feels that this is the context that is missing with a lot of people discussing masculinity. And they were a veteran, so they are a veteran, sorry. And they feel as though the relationship I described between Boromir and Aragorn is the missing context. So I would agree. I think in modern society, we encourage men to be open, and we encourage men to share their emotions and share their feelings. And I do think this is a good thing to do, because we are living in an age where it's important to tackle mental health issues and to really make sure you're okay mentally. However, we ask them to do this in a way that women typically do this. So girls typically can meet each other and in a week share their deepest secrets. Less than a week, but I'm being liberal to incorporate some of the more shy types. But generally, girls are not afraid to sort of share their emotions within a week of meeting each other. We know we can behave as if we've been friends for years, and that's fine. But with men, because of the social expectations, also because of just in some way how men are, they do need an environment where they respect the person they're disclosing sensitive information to, and that they feel safe in, and they have to feel as if that information that they're about to give out will not be used against them later on. And a lot of men have expressed the fear of doing this with their spouses, because in an argument, that deep secret you guys shared could be used against you. So when it comes to men opening up, I did feel it was very important to emphasize that men do open up, but usually it's to someone that they feel they can really trust. They're not as open generally. This is obviously a general statement. They're not as open generally as women are. And I don't think we should be asking them to be as open as women are, because there are differences between men and women, and I think we should respect those differences. Where I do think, where I do agree with the message of men opening up, is that we should be encouraging this sort of behavior to open up to anyone in general, because a lot of men do feel that they cannot open up even to people that they respect, for fear of judgment, for fear of also societal pressure that they have to have it all together. And not everyone has it all together all the time, so it's okay to talk to someone. I don't want to encourage you to just start spilling everything to people you've just met, but opening up is very, very important, and you need to find someone that you can respect. It could be a paid professional, it could be someone in your family, it could be a close friend, but you do need to speak to somebody, and I think it's very important for that message to be passed across in society. So the next one, another Ron and Hermione one. Okay. Frankly, I think Ron and Hermione's marriage is doomed to misery. Difficult to have a successful relationship when one of the people in it talks down to and considers the other to be an idiot. Okay. Ron and Hermione's relationship matures as they get older. It does not stay the same. The way that Ron thought about Hermione in his first year compared to how Ron thought about Hermione in his 6th year is very different. And the same thing goes for Hermione. Yes, if you look at their relationship when they were children and expect a marriage between children to function, that's a stupid idea. But when we're looking at how people change and mature, and if we track the trajectory of how they changed and matured over the course of their friendship coming up to a relationship in their sixth year, I do not think it's doomed to failure, because they show significant change. They show the willingness to take each other seriously. They also have a respect for each other and a willingness to adapt to each other's ideas, which is vital for a marriage. You do need to be able to cooperate with each other, and they show that ability. So if you're judging off their childhood when they were children, still going through the turmoils of puberty and a madman on their tail essentially trying to kill their best friend, then obviously it's doomed to marriage. It's doomed to end. But if you look at the trajectory of how they matured and you just stretch that out another couple of 10 years, I don't think they're doomed to failure. So yeah, that's the kind of answer to that question. I do not think they're doomed to failure. I think actually their marriage is probably going to be very successful. I don't like the cursed child, but as we can see, they do end up married for the long term in that. So yeah, that's the answer to that. Okay, let's see. Who are your role models? Right, my parents. First of all, my parents are my biggest role models. I have spoken about my parents before on this channel, or either in the comment section, but they taught me most of what I know. They also facilitated my lifestyle and allowed me to have the luxury to read and to read a lot. You can see from the bookshelf. If you go to my bookshelf tour video, you will see just the sheer amount of books that they have purchased over the years for me. So yeah, my parents' biggest role models. Their marriage is obviously something I hope to replicate in the future, and I think that they are very influential and very kind people, and the sort of people that you would want to look up to. So Elizabeth Gaskell, she is another one of my role models. She is a writer, the author of Wives and Daughters, one of my favourite novels. She had a very sort of influential life in the writing community. She wrote for Charles Dickens' publication. So in terms of how connected she was, in terms of her influence, I would obviously love to replicate that, so that's why she's one of my role models. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis, their worldview is one I share, and also in terms of writing, they are very influential to me, and I know they're influential to a number of other people who watch these videos. So definitely Tolkien and C.S. Lewis. Nerdinal, from one of Tolkien's stories, The Silmarillion. She is a character with a very strong will. She also she's also a redhead. You know, I had red hair for a while. I might insert a picture. Who knows? But she is a character who had to be very strong. I mean, to be married to a man like Fëanor and to have 7 sons. She definitely had to be a very strong person, and I admire that strength. I also think it's very telling, the fact that she was called the Wise, which speaks a lot to her character and to the way that she conducted herself. So that's why she's one of my role models. Despite the fact not a lot is said about her in the Silmarillion, I think she's a character who shines through. Jack Sparrow. There's a funny story behind this, actually, why I'm influenced by Jack Sparrow. So I was having a talk with my mum, and we were sort of just talking about life, and she was giving me advice, and I started to talk about what I wanted my life to be like. I was saying, oh, I want to live a life that was inspirational. I want to live a life that will be remembered after I'm gone. I want to live a life like Jack Sparrow. My mum didn't say anything at all. She just sort of kept silent. My dad was like, who did you say? And my mum said, I gave up on her at that moment. I expected her to say someone like Hillary Clinton, Michelle Obama, Oprah, and she says Jack Sparrow. And I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, that's why he's on this list. He does live a very adventurous life, so he's definitely somebody whose life I not necessarily want to emulate. I don't intend to become a pirate at any time, but I do think living a life almost chasing a purpose is something I do want to do. So, final question, favourite movies or series? The Lord of the Rings trilogy, obviously. Recently added Dune to this list because I watched it and I really enjoyed it. I'll be doing a review of this on Friday. I think I've mentioned that before in this video. Braveheart, Outlaw King, Pirates of the Caribbean. The Professor and the Madman. It's directed, I think, even produced, I think, by Mel Gibson. Not sure, but he was in the movie and it was absolutely stunning. Emma, the series, not the movie. Vikings, I'm a huge Vikings fan. Outlander, I'm not the biggest fan of romances, but this one actually won me over. Killing Eve is hilarious. I know a lot of people don't like Killing Eve, but that's because they tried to take it too seriously. It's supposed to be satire of the whole detective and spy genre, so it's not supposed to be taken seriously, and I didn't take it seriously in the slightest, and I completely enjoyed it. The Crown, Downton Abbey, and The Peaky Blinders. Those are just the series and sort of movies off the top of my head that I love. Obviously, I like a lot more than this, but I think off the top of my head, if I had to think of movies and series that I've really enjoyed, those are probably the ones I'm able to think of right now. So that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you have a lovely day. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can be notified when I upload. And yeah, this has been the Malika Writes channel.